Okay, so here I'm going to go into a little bit of the actual Picmonic platform. So after you log in, this is your home screen. This is what you'll see. And if you did want to just try Picmonic out, you get one free Picmonic a day. Um, but here's all these tiles on your home page, and these are all customizable. You can remove these or add them here as you want. If you don't want something on there, you can just exit out and it'll drop away. You can drag these tiles anywhere and kind of move things around. So here they have recently viewed Picmonics. Here's trending. This is recommended based on what you've viewed so far. They'll have related Picmonics there. Here's your quiz performance. So again, that spaced repetition we talked about. Each day you'll have a certain number of facts to learn based on how much you've done so far. So what I actually use the most is either this browse or this search button. So I'll show you browse here first. I have mine set up a little differently, but you'll have access to the PA-specific Picmonics. Now, Picmonic does offer tracks for medical school, for nurse practitioners, for nurses as well. So you'll see all these. But if you go search by courses or body systems, you can find that it's laid out pretty efficiently. So here's all the classes. You have micro, biochem, anatomy, and so forth. So we're actually going to take a look at pharmacology today. And honestly, if Picmonic only had pharmacology offered, I still would have paid the full price for it. It has been that helpful, especially for pharm. Studying for Challenge Bowl, Picmonic's been helpful with certain disease states and pathophysiology, but overwhelmingly, I think that the pharmacology thing has been the most helpful. So it's grouped pretty much by organ system or by topic. So we can go to infectious diseases. Let's take a look at, say, antivirals. And with the Picmonic track, you'll have access to over 1,300 different Picmonics. This is actually something that I'd like to pull up in class as we're learning a specific organ system because, again, Picmonic focuses on the high-yield facts for each topic based on Pants Prep Pearls, which is a board prep book. So you can actually scan over a topic and see, okay, these are the most high-yield informative facts for each topic. So we can take a look at, let's just go with acyclovir, something that's used for herpes. So you can click on Learn Picmonic. And there's basically two modes that you can use, an educational mode and a story mode. The transcripts are all at the bottom of the page. If you wanted to look at it, it's all typed out for you. Here's the educational audio transcript and the story audio transcript. The facts are all linked in order. Again, we talked about grouping and linking. So here's mechanism of action. There's 3 facts for that. Here's a couple indications, side effects, so on and so forth. And all these facts are listed over here on the left side of the screen, so you can actually toggle this in and out. And if you do happen to want to click on a fact, it'll have a definition pop up right under it, and it'll also show the visual representation with it. One of the most helpful buttons I have on here is this button down here, the audio speed. Most often I'll play mine on 1.5. If it's something that I've already listened to several times, I'll play it on 2 times. But this is super helpful. And also keep that in mind for when you're watching YouTube videos, just as far as efficiency goes. If you can keep up with it, play it at a higher speed. So let's just go through. I'm going to play through this Picmonic and kind of give you guys a feel of what it's like.
Cyclovir, also known by its trade name Zovirax, with the apple cyclops. Acyclovir is a guanosine analog, shown as the G-iguana on a log, and works to inhibit viral replication by suppressing synthesis of viral DNA, shown by the inhibiting chains on the replicating virus. This medication is only effective when it's phosphorylated and is activated by viral thymidine kinase, represented by the thyme-kite ACE. It is used for treatment of herpes simplex virus, the herpes harp virus, as well as for treatment of varicella zoster virus, the varsity zoro virus. Side effects with oral administration may include headache, the headache lump, and GI distress, the GI shooting his flare gun in distress. Side effects with IV administration may include CNS toxicity, shown by the CNS brain with the toxic green glow, which may include tremors, agitation, and myoclonus, primarily in patients with renal impairment. Nephrotoxicity, the kidney with a toxic green glow, is also of concern, with the risk of renal injury being increased by dehydration and by use of other nephrotoxic drugs. Additionally, crystalline nephropathy is another risk of drug administration, as rapid infusion or use in patients with renal damage or dehydration can lead to precipitation of acyclovir crystals in the kidney. Administration of this drug can help prevent recurrent episodes of viral outbreaks, shown by the prevent sign at the recurrent episode on TV. Lastly, a consideration to be aware of is that this medication should be given by slow IV infusion, shown by the snail IV infuser, in order to avoid the risk of crystalline kidney damage. So in summary, acyclovir works as a guanosine analog, which inhibits viral replication. It is activated by viral thymidine kinase to treat herpes simplex virus and varicella zoster virus. Side effects of oral administration include headache and GI distress, while IV administration may lead to CNS toxicity and nephrotoxicity, along with crystalline nephropathy. This drug can help prevent recurrent episodes of viral outbreaks and should be given by slow IV infusion.
Okay, so this is pretty standard. They'll start off with the introduction. They'll play the Picmonic, going through each fact, and then they will actually give us a quick
Think of
summary.
Apple Cyclops, like the guardian of forbidden fruit.
They'll give a quick summary of the Picmonic at the end. It usually will automatically roll over into story mode. You can change the settings over here, this player setting. There's a lot of different things you can change. Character blur, show subtitles. You can play around with all these later, but I'll go ahead and play the story here.
Apple Cyclops, like the guardian of forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. But instead of a serpent, imagine this bad apple was supplied by the scaly hands of the G iguana on a log. But Apple Cyclops doesn't want people getting freaky with each other and replicating viruses. So if any of these love children burst from cells, they get wrapped up by inhibiting chains and promptly eaten. He keeps Adam and Eve apart from each other by actively yanking at their time garbs with a high ace and pulls them into the tree. Eve is a beautiful herpes harp, and Adam is a handsome varsity zorovirus. The Apple Cyclops gives them one last warning and casts them from the tree. But no sooner than hitting the ground, an apple falls from the tree and hits Eve in the head, causing a headache lump. It lands perfectly in her open palm, looking delicious as ever. Eve can't resist. She opens her mouth wide for a bite, and her GI yells, "No!" and shoots a flare gun in distress. But it's too late. She tasted the forbidden fruit one too many times. The ground splits open and toxic ivy begins pulling Adam down. His CNS brain glows bright green as his toxic kidneys are pulled from his flank. And that's how Adam and Eve were cast from the Garden of Eden. To prevent this from happening again, a TV was set up in the garden showing recurring episodes of all the flare-ups and vesicles Adam and Eve had to suffer from. A snail who had seen everything sits perched atop of Ivy's sand, smacking apples from the hands of those who waver. He's like, "Take love slow, wait till you're married."
Okay, so after it plays through educational and story mode, you have the option to take a quiz, and these aren't so much board questions as they are quick recall. And so, okay, we'll go through a couple of these. What most likely represents a side effect of acyclovir? So nephrotoxicity. If you hadn't or if you weren't really sure, you could click on this box over here, and it would show you the Picmonic associated with it, and you could click answer. Again, it's going to give you a definition with it. If for some reason you did not like the answer, or it was a duplicate, or there was another correct answer on there, you could always click on this suggest improvement box and either report a bad question, give a thumbs up or thumb down for the other incorrect answers, and you can always suggest other things as well. So, and then you can hit this blue button down here for next question, and it'll go through. It's got a different question for each fact. So, what is most likely administration considering regarding acyclovir? So it's slow IV infusion. If you remember the snail over here with the IV. Now let's say we got something wrong. Clicked on this one. It will show you the right answer, and then you would go on. And when you get to the end of the quiz, it'll show you how many you got right, how many you got wrong, and then you have the option to go and review, what you got wrong again. So there's a couple other buttons up here. I don't really use these as much, but if you wanted to edit something, this is one neat feature about Picmonic, is that you can actually add in your own facts. So say there's something from class that was covered that you feel like was super important, whether it's dosing or another side effect or adverse effect. You can actually add, if you add a header, that's what these gray boxes are, or you can add a fact. So let's say, I don't know, we wanted to add a fact. Let's say you're supposed to take with food. I don't think acyclovir you need to take with food, but say you wanted to add that, you hit this add button. You can select, a classification for it. But then you can actually also pick an image. So you can actually upload images. Say you wanted to upload an image of what herpes simplex virus or even varicella chickenpox looked like, or shingles. You can actually upload an image from Google or from your computer and actually put it into the Picmonic. They've got a bunch of images here that you can select and say we wanted to take with food. It would pop up here. You can resize it. You can place it anywhere on the picture that you want. So I'm just going to undo this. I'm going to delete this fact because I actually don't need it. So those are some of the basic features on there. Again, very helpful. Oops. Froze up on me for a second. But yeah, there's a bunch of features on here that you can use. Like I said, I use it a lot in class just to have alongside the lectures. Let me see if I missed anything. So, oops. The glossary button over here is pretty neat. It actually shows you a list of all the characters that are in Picmonic. So you can search through to see, say, hypertension. Um, this hiker with a blood pressure cuff. If you click on him, it'll show you every single Picmonic that he's associated with. So this is just a quick way to maybe find out related facts, related adverse effects. So there's a lot of features on there you can play with it. But they actually have an app that I actually find that I have an Android, I don't have an iPhone, but I actually use the app a good bit. It's super convenient and it's really fast. So just a quick way to review the one of the functions they have if you have an iPhone is what's called gym mode. So it's on autoplay that you can just play through continuously. Just again, continual exposure to the information. So a couple extra tips. Again, I already talked about pulling the Picmonic up during lecture, but one of the things that's some of the professors probably already talked to you about is previewing the lectures or skimming the lectures ahead of time the night before. This really helps solidify the information. So you can do that with Picmonic. You can pull it up and kind of look at, all right, what's the most high yield facts that I'm gonna retain from lecture and kind of use that as a foundation to build off of. I actually like to make my flashcards during class. You can also type up and answer the objectives as you're going through the PowerPoint. I use Anki a lot, so I'm actually making my flashcards alongside of class. But if you really pay attention during lecture, it will save you a ton of time on the back end. Of course, after class, reviewing the topics, whether creating playlists or utilizing your flashcards and your objectives, it's really critical, again, with that spaced repetition to go over it pretty soon. As far as long-term memory, again, that Anki flashcards set is really good just because it's built-in spaced repetition for you. Again, with active recall, talking through the objectives with classmates, a lot of times we'll just pull up the PowerPoints and talk through each slide or quiz each other on the information. Another tip is to sit in on a different study group the day or two before the test. If you're studying with the same people, you're probably going to be studying the same information. And what I found is that when I've sat in on another group study session, I'll pick up things that my group didn't study that the other group had. So one final tip is something that my class did that has been tremendously helpful is to create a question bank for each quiz or exam. And this is basically just a Google document where each of you contributes 3 to 5 questions. You can do more if you want, but 3 to 5 multiple choice questions based on the material so that you have a practice test built specific to your objectives, specific to your tests. And so that's something that has helped my class out tremendously. Okay, so as far as pricing, if this is something that you want, there is a promo code that is displayed here. If you'll go to this site here, you can enter this promo code and you'll get 40% off. Now, this is only good till midnight. So it's usually about $170, but you guys are getting a pretty big discount. I was actually the first person in my class to get it, so I ended up paying full price for it. But again, I used the free version for about a week, maybe not even a week, 2 or 3 days, and it was so helpful for pharmacology that I was like, I think this is definitely worth the investment. And there's other resources out there like Sketchy Medical and Osmosis. There's other audiovisual learning platforms. This isn't the only one, but this is something that I've really enjoyed. It's actually made pharmacology pretty fun and entertaining to watch. I've even watched it along with second and third graders that I've been babysitting, and they've enjoyed it too. Okay, so now it's time for our raffle, and the winner is going to win a free year's worth of Picmonic. So here we go. Okay, any questions? They are actually very quick as far as getting feedback. If you have any questions at any time, um, you can go online and do a chat or email. Again, you can come find me at any point. But they do a great job. They stay on top of the material. They review the quiz questions, and they actually look at every single user submission that comes in. So that is the end of our presentation. Thanks, guys.